Greetings, my fellow freedom sovereign thinkers. This is LL3's newest podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. And today's date, Friday, July 17th, 2015. Yep. It's, a little bit, sun's getting ready to set here in Fort Lauderdale. Just, a little bit raining, but start to dry up. Cloudy, so it's not as hot like earlier today. So I'm just gonna keep this pretty short and sweet this time. And I know people are really the big hype. One of the biggest trends will happen in the shootings in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I do send my condolences out to the families and friends and comrades within that unit as well for the loss of their loved ones. And many people maybe are talking about Jade Helm 15. I haven't really looked at everything in good faith, so I can't really jump into conclusions. Can it be a conspiracy? Can it be a patsy? Can it be a mind control advocate? It's possible. I'm not going to jump the gun. I'm not going to go Muslim bashing either, because to me it's a waste of energy. But when I do, I'm going to address it, give you my intake, but not at this time. However, a few things just looked up. I went to my Twitter, and first thing I'm going to be reading came from the Independent. Actually, I originally got this from David Icke on his Twitter page. So he always knows he has some good links. So check out davidicke.com. Check out his page. He's one unique individual overall. Some people may call him a nut job with the reptilians and so forth, but yeah, when it comes to the New World Order and conspiracies, he is pretty dead on. But you always got to do your own research. However, we'll just start here, which the first article says from the Independent. It's entitled, "Government Lifts Remaining Restrictions on Arms Sales to Israel After a Year-Long Review." This is written by Shaul Milmo. It actually came out yesterday, to be exact. And it says here, the government has lifted any remaining restrictions on arms sales to Israel following a year-long review of 12 export licenses of weaponry, which it admitted may have been used in last year's bombardment of Gaza. Business Secretary Shahad Javid's department said it was not satisfied that the licenses for material, including a component for military radar and tanks, meet the UK's export criteria, which bans any sales of arms where there is a clear risk that may be used to commit serious breaches of human rights. The coalition government was forced to review its weaponry sales to Israel during the last summer's Operation Productive Edge to halt Hamas rocket attacks, which cost more than 2,000 lives, including those of hundreds of Palestinian civilians. British subsequent refusal to suspend the 12 licenses led to the resignation of Foreign Office Minister Baroness Warzi, who said Britain's stance was morally indefensible. Department for Business Innovation and Skills, BIS, last year announced a further review of weaponry sales to Israel as a result, for which it yesterday said it would not apply its normal criteria to all exports and was lifting its previous threat that licenses would suspend in the event of fresh hostilities between Israel and the occupied territories. In a statement, BIS said, following the review, the government has concluded that the present context where the facts are clear, these criteria may now be applied without any additional measures. You can read more of this on the exclusive Britain is still arming Israel. There's a couple of links on there as well. Definitely check out. The Independent revealed last month that Britain approved fresh arms deals with Israel worth £4 million within weeks of the end of the Gaza conflict, with the first license being granted within 6 days of the announcement of a ceasefire. Campaign said the government's investigation has failed to pinpoint the extent of the use of British weaponry in the most recent and previous conflicts. Andrew Smith of the Campaign Against Arms Trade said this is an exceptionally weak and tokenistic review, and it's unclear why it has taken almost a year to complete. Successive government have said it is likely that the UK arms were used against the people of Gaza in 2009 and 2014. This is, like I always said in the past, every nation has the right to defend themselves and its people from all tyrannical aggression. However, the Israeli government has tremendous amounts of rough edges, which is really deceitful to the many eyes of the folks that see things a lot broader. And I'm trying to figure this out. Actually, I do figure this out. Is when it comes to provoking war, and even Benjamin Netanyahu has a real dark reputation, and I say that politely, on some of his schemes of things, and conning folks, and trying to manipulate, try to have agents influence the United States and other countries that we're the good guys and they're the wicked ones, are all evil, pathetic cockroaches. That's how they pursued their rhetoric. And even too with the whole area in Palestine, which is one big outdoor apartheid, like a big outside prison. That's something you have to question. There's even footage and videos and in there as well, and plus the folks in Israeli people themselves are tired of it as well, also, and they are speaking out on it. And these are folks that are Jewish by faith. Like one good interesting organization, or good, or whatever you want to call it, Jews Against Zionism. So there's a big division right now in Israel on what is happening. But given all these, lifting the weapons restrictions, even violating so-called quote-unquote human rights to the people in Gaza, this is one big staged event, and the people within those areas are suffering the most. Innocent, non-combatant individuals should not be punished if the aggressor doesn't give a damn but themselves. That's how I look at it. This is just another example on why this is nothing more than a real dirty proposal or dirty deal. I am not fond of this whatsoever. So there's arms trade and so forth. It's going to happen one way or the other, but the people need to start waking up. And the bottom line is this: the Israeli government needs the people more than them. So, against the people of Israel, it's just the government, criminal elements in the government. You have to really pay attention to. So, this is absolutely fact stranger than fiction. All right, next one here. Speaking of Britain, this came from EFF to be exact. That's the name of the group, EFF, Electronic Foundations, Frontier Foundation, and they did forward, which is libertyhumanrights.org. Liberty protecting civil liberties and promoting human rights. So it's in Britain, and it came out today. It's entitled Davis and Watson DRIPA, or DRIPA challenge. Government surveillance law Government surveillance law is lawful, High Court rules. As it reads here, surveillance legislation rushed through the Parliament by ministers in a matter of days is unlawful. The High Court has ruled today. In a challenge brought by MPs David Davis and Tom Watson, represented by Liberty, the court found the Section 1 and 2 of the Data Retention and Investigatory Powers Act of 2014 are incompatible with the British public right to respect for private life and communications and to protect of personal data under Articles 7 and 8 of the EU Charter of Fundamental Rights. Today's landmark judgment comes exactly 1 year after DRIPA received royal assent on 17th July 2014. It was rushed through the Parliament by a coalition government who claimed emergency legislation was necessary 3 months after the Court of Justice of the EU ruled the existing EU directive on data retention invalid because it was so sweeping in its interference with individual privacy rights. DRIPA allows the Home Secretary to order communications companies to retain communications data for 12 months. It catches the records of communications of everyone in the UK, including emails, calls, texts, and web activity of MPs, journalists, lawyers, doctors, and other correspondences that may be confidential or privileged. So like the Patriot Act, huh? Good grief. Data retained under DRIPA is then subject to extreme lax access regime, allowing it to be acquired by hundreds of public authorities, many of which can authorize access themselves for a broad range of reasons that have nothing to do with the investigation of serious crime. Roughly 500,000 requests are granted each year. The High Court has found Sections 1 and 2 of DRIPA unlawful on the basis that they fail to provide clear and precise rules to ensure data is only accessed for the purpose of preventing and detecting serious offenses or for conducting criminal prosecutions relating to such offenses. And over here it says access to data is not authorized by a court or independent body whose decision could limit access and to use of the data to what is strictly necessary. The ruling observes that the need for that approval to be by a judge or official wholly independent of the force or body making an application should not, provided the person responsible is properly trained or experienced by particularly cumbersome. The unlawful sections of DRIPA will remain in force until the end of March 2016, allow time for the government to legislate properly, and that point they will cease to have effect. James Welsh, legal director for Liberty, said, Liberty has long called for fundamental reform of our surveillance laws to ensure the public's rights are properly respected by our government. The chorus of voices demanding change is now growing. Campaigners, MPs across the political spectrum, the government's own reviewer of terrorism legislation are all calling for judicial oversight and clear safeguards. The High Court has now added its voice, ruling key provisions of DRIPA unlawful. Now is the time for the Home Secretary to commit publicly to surveillance conducted with a proper respect for privacy, democracy, and the rule of law, not plow on with more of the same. David Davis, correspondence MP for Holt, Emprice and Howden, said the court has recognized what it was clear to many last year that the government hasty and ill thought through legislation is fatally flawed. They will now have to rewrite the law to require judicial or independent approval before accessing innocent people's data, reflecting the new consensus among experts in the Anderson and Rusi report. This change will improve both privacy and security. As well as the government gave the Parliament 1 day to consider its law, the court has given almost 9 months. Tom Watson, Labour MP for West Bromwich East, said the government has warned that rushing through important security legislation would end up in a botched law. Now the High Court has said they must come back to Parliament and do it properly. The government gave MPs 1 day to discuss legislation which was wrongly represented as respectful of people's right to privacy. It has until March 2016 to make sure that the law is rewritten. There must be independent oversight of government's data collection powers, and there must be proper framework and rules on the use of access of citizens' communications data. A growing consensus. The judgment follows June's major report from the government reviewer of terrorism legislation, David Anderson, QC, who described the current law as undemocratic and intolerable and called for a comprehensive overhaul of laws governing state surveillance. Among other things, has recommended prior judicial authorization for all interceptions, warrants, and some communications data requests, something for which Liberty has campaigned for more than a decade. Earlier this week, a surveillance review from the Royal United Services Institute, or RUSI, whose panel includes a former Director General of MI5, Chief of the Secret Intelligence Service, and Director of Intelligence for the Metropolitan Police, recommended judicial authorization for some interception warrants. Judicial approval is also supported by Labor, the SNP, the Liberal Democrats, the Green Party, and a number of high-profile conservative MPs, including former Attorney General Dominic Grieve, QC. It's good because this thing is supported across the board, which is really nice. And it says here, in some of the rare instances in which spying has come to light in recent years, the inadequacy of the self-authorization system has been laid bare. Metropolitan Police have accessed journalists' phone records, spied on Baroness Doreen Lawrence and her family, and infiltrated social and environmental justice groups, and to extend that women were tricked into a long-term romantic relationship or even having a child with an undercover officer. Yeah, interesting there, huh? Over the same period of time, legal challenges have revealed that JCHQ has intercepted legally privileged communications of a torture victim, challenging the UK complicity in his rendition to Gaddafi's Libya, and spied on respected human rights organizations. Home Secretary Theresa May has so far refused to commit to the Anderson report's recommendation for prior judicial approval. The UK is alone amongst the Five Eyes nations in an intelligence alliance comprising the UK, USA, Canada, and New Zealand in making no use of judges the prior authorization of interception warrants. You can contact Liberty office on 020-7378-3656 or 7973-831128, and they have the full judgment here too. So and they have footnotes from the two editors. So this is really fantastic news that would happen in Britain. Is a great victory for privacy and other great things that happen. You got to give Liberty organization a thumbs up for what they've done, because this is just another example. The war on terror is the war with its people in Great Britain, like the rest of the other Western nations, including the United States of America. We have to keep on fighting Big Brother. You gotta keep plugging away. Don't just belly up. Be proactive. And look what happens. Results do come in. Like with the USA Patriot Act, and of course in the U.S. 8 states, over 400 municipalities said no to it. To nullify. It can be done. So don't be afraid. Don't say I have nothing to hide, because then you say, yes, I am a bend over Bob or bend over Barbie to the tyranny. And we cannot ever have that mindset, because all of our rights are natural born, regardless of what your creed is. Okay, so I'm not gonna have to go to religious things like that, because That's not what I do things in a more different way. I have my views as well. So, but when it comes to common interest, we gotta stick together regardless. But you have to give these guys a thumbs up once again. Hurrah, hurrah! That's right, my friends. I'm very proud of these individuals for doing something that's fulfilling. All right. Okay. Next one here. Oops, one moment. I'm going to do my little rant a little bit more here. That can wait later on. Alright, I'm just going to put this out and shoot this up. Alright. And this is I got from the Libertarian Republic. This gets caught my eye. It's more like a political opinion. And this is entitled Secession Movement in Hawaii Wins Big Victory. It is by Austin Peterson and Blake Neff on July 17th, 2015. University of Hawaii caves to secessionists. It says here, University of Hawaii at Hilo has given into Hawaii secessionists spending tens of thousands of dollars to construct flagpoles that will ensure the U.S. flag doesn't fly above the Hawaiian one. Last December, a group of Hawaiian sovereignty activists pulled down the American flag from its flagpole at the main entrance of UH Hilo that hoisted up the Hawaiian flag by itself in order to protest the illegal occupation of the Hawaiian kingdom by the United States. Then they delivered the U.S. flag to administrators, demanding that henceforth the Hawaiian flag should be given precedence on flagpoles. Since then, according to Hawaii Tribune Herald, the flagpole has been kept bare due to the controversy. U.S. flag adequate holds that within the United States, the U.S. flag must be given precedence over those of states, cities, and or organizations. But now UH officials have given into demand of activists, and they will be spending $33,000 to install 2 new flagpoles on the same height to make sure that the Hawaiian flag may be regarded as equal. The flagpoles will also have an internal halyard system that can be locked in order to prevent activists from fiddling with the flags in the future. The new catapultation is similar to the ones that has occurred at the other state buildings in Hawaii. The school said the new flagpoles are expected to be installed by mid-August. One Hawaii independence activist celebrated the school's decision as an admission that Hawaii is illegally occupied. By putting 2 separate poles, they, which is the UH Hilo, have recognized us as a nation not conquered. Joseph Kalaru told the Tribune Herald, there is no flag flying right now at UHH and Hawaii Community Flags and Hawaii Community College. So the only flag now is flying is one around our ahu or stone altar. We are only ones in power right now. Kahalu further accused of UH of brainwashing the students by working to support America's illegal occupation of Hawaii. He said the flag offensive is only the beginning. The flag is just the beginning. Kealalu said, without a flag, you have no jurisdiction. Ooh, man. I've been reading and hearing about this for a good long time, about Hawaii is an occupied territory. Well. And let's see if all those diehard Republicans go after them and say, you guys are racist pigs. How dare you take the American flag down? So you're going to tell them that the Hawaiian flag is equal to the Nazis. Just want to call out those neocons that talk about the Confederate flag, which I'm not saying the Confederate States of America are a bunch of angels as well. And I've been very fair and firm on that. Okay, they have their rough edges. I'm not going to argue about that. You got to look at everything across the board. But this is pretty unique because it should be by consent, not conscripted. What happened was in Hawaii, it's been proven they've been occupied, so it was forced down their throats or conscripted. So I can't blame the secessionists, including Mr. Kalululo, hopefully I pronounced his name right, for making this happen. So yes, Joseph Kalululo was, like I say, in good faith, had to be correct. So you have to really contemplate on this, my friends, about secession. Secession is never about racism and so forth. It's about sovereignty. And they have the right Hawaii has the right to be sovereign as well, like all 50 states within the Union. If they've been conquered and you gotta force them to be a state, you know what? It does violate Article 6 of our U.S. Constitution. Plain and simple. It's by choice, not mandate. So I do have to give the secessionists their homage, and hopefully it can be a lot more than what it is. So there's a one here that's actually a video footage. Has video footage of an interview from Democracy Now! I got this from Truth Out. And it says here, video shows California police shooting unarmed man with hands up by Amy Goodman, Juan Gonzalez, Democracy Now! It's a video interview. You can see the video yourself. And it actually starts in the 41-minute mark, 36 seconds to be exact. And it says here, after a 2-year legal battle between California city of Gardena and news outlets, the federal judge has ordered the release of police dash cam footage that shows local police officers shooting an unarmed man. In the video unsealed Tuesday, police ordered Ricardo Diaz Zaffarino and 2 other men to raise their hands in the air. The men complied. Diaz Zaffarino then lowers and raised his hand several times and removes his cap. His friends say he was trying to explain to the officers that they were on the streets looking for his brother's stolen bicycle and were not bicycle thieves themselves, as the cops incorrectly suspected. 3 officers then opened fire, killing him with 8 bullets. They also wound 1 of the other men. The city of Gardena paid $4.7 million to settle a civil rights lawsuit with the victims' families, but blocked release of the dashcam videos. In his ruling on Tuesday, Judge Stephen Wilson said there was a public interest in seeing the material. Gardena has since filed a notice of appeal with the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals, which issued a stay suspending the video release. Moreover, the video has gone viral and remain available online. For more, we go to Los Angeles, California, where we join Sonia Mercado, a civil rights attorney representing the family of Ricardo Zaffarino. Please check that back for the full transcript, but you can see the video yourself. I watched a video clip of that, and he did die. He had his hands up, and he was unarmed. So I do find this pretty damn disturbing, my friends. And why? People gotta shoot first, ask questions later, especially in this particular protocol. And I do find this really disgusting, and plus they talk about, they don't want the video to be released. Hey, to be honest, that's considered public property, okay, in the city of Garston. Everyone is entitled to look at that. It's public information. And you know what, I'm gonna see what I can do here. Try to see what I can do here. I'll look at the California Constitution. Oops, wrong one. Shoot. But we can definitely check out the California Constitution. I think it's Article 1. I don't know what section to be exact, but I'm gonna try to get that checked out the best I can. But it's really disturbing, And I don't know why it's not working with me. Hopefully the signal's still good. I hope. Oh yeah, so the signal's still good. Yeah, it should be good. But it's just one of those things, But shoot, I'm not getting the damn thing, so I'm gonna shut that off. But if I do, I'll do my best to add the California Constitution. And if there's anything about public records, I will have that. I will add it to it. If not, if I leave a blank, then you understand why. Okay. So and I actually saw this one video by Libertarianism.com. It says why Libertarians should not support the Confederacy, and the guy has some solid points, and he like I know, you know me, I have talk about the rough edges too with the Confederacy of America, about the slave issues and so forth, and I know Jefferson Davis talked about non-free men, non-free persons, and the vice president of the Confederacy of America talked about, you know, about the slave issue. So there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of pros and cons. But it has some, you know, a good viewpoint. Some people may not agree, others may not. So I look at, you know, the pros and cons like everything else, and I'll still be very sincere. And I always tell people, just watch the video and do your own research. Look up the Confederate Constitution. You can make your own judgment, and even the quotes from those other individuals that he talked about on secession. So, and what's good thing about it too, he even talked about Lincoln as well, and the Union weren't all squeaky clean either. So it was a very dirty conflict the way he addressed this, and that's his views on why Libertarians should not support the Confederacy, because on the slave issue, which he has a solid point. But many others, yeah, he may not agree, it's states' rights, but it's just his honest viewpoint. But, you know, I'm going to take the initiative on adding that, putting that video on there, and you folks can make your own judgment. And, you know, it's all good, and that is really it, my friends. I'd like to thank everyone for listening. As I'm saying, this is a short segment. So, thank you. Plus, if you got any questions, recommendations, sorry about that, I spaced out. Recommendations, compliments, criticisms, love letters, hate letters, use decorum. Alright? You can hit me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Spreaker, or send your comments to iHeartRadio, or you can email me at lookyluck3@gmail.com. Plus, you can go to my Spreaker page. I have the information how to contact me as well. And I forgot to say this. Please feel free to download and share this episode and many others on my archives throughout your social media network, okay? Once again, I thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.